Atlanta area. I'm not really sure how far that drive is, but I think it's not unreasonable. A couple hours.
Yeah, I mean, he made it.
Yeah.
So couldn't be too unreasonable. VanMeter going to start off here with the man accelerant. Very important here in Elvis Mystic. You see a Temple of Triumph from Fortner. Going to leave the top card on top before passing back to Chris. See if Chris can actually play like a course run turn 2 or an ooze or something. Just has a Temple of Abandon. We'll take a look at the top card. Looks like a copy of Pulachronos. He wasn't going to leave it there very quickly, and now he does.
Pulachronos is a pretty powerful threat against burn.
So big.
Chaining the rocks or bust.
So big. Can't burn it out. And if you do have to waste 2 burn spells on it, that's a victory for you.
Yeah, it is a bit on the slow side, but overall pretty powerful in the matchup.
Mountain going to come into play here for Fortner. Does have a Magma Jet in his hand, but also does have a copy of Satyr Fire Dancer. So we'll see if he wants to go with the creature or just taking care of the Mystic. I think you have to take care of the Mystic in this situation.
It's pretty attractive. You know, Chris did nothing last turn, so it kind of implies that he will also do nothing the following turn if you go ahead and kill this.
And there's Magma Jet. You see a Chain of the Rocks and a Sacred Foundry. Kind of a combo there as far as cards are concerned that Fortner's looking at. Does he want to keep both? Looks like he wants to keep the Chain. He's going to put the Foundry to the bottom.
He's already got his Temple, so he's good on white mana.
Yep. Pulachronos to draw here for VanMeter. You see a Blood Crypt there. That's going to come into play untapped. VanMeter going to go down to 18. Does he have a play? We know he has Putrefy. And he's just going to pass the turn back. Kind of risky there, taking 2.
That is a very aggressive line here from Chris. Those 2 points of damage could end up being very significant here. If it's Chandra's Phoenix, it's a push on damage. It's a lot better if it's Boros Reckoner. It was the play that Phillip was going to do here.
Phillip going to play a Sacred Foundry untapped, and now here's the Phoenix. This is actually works out really, really well for Chris, as the Putrefy is going to take care of the Phoenix. So VanMeter's going to untap. He's going to take a draw. Does he have an untapped land? He does. There's a Forest, now Pulachronos. So a fortunate series of events there for VanMeter. Taking the 2 does not come back to hurt him, and now he's got the 5/5 Hydra in play.
Pretty powerful stuff. That was a big risk that turn that Chris took, but he got paid off for it.
Speaking of big risk, a Mana Confluence going to come down here for Fortner. We'll see how that's going to do things for him. He's going to have to take 1 to cast that Boros Reckoner. Those points of damage do add up.
Though they are a lot more important for Chris than they are for Phillip.
VanMeter going to draw. Going to play a Temple. Little scry action here. Looking at an Overgrown Tomb. Got to imagine that's going to go to the bottom, and it does. Got a Mizzium Mortgage at the ready here. Question is, does he want to fire it off now or later? He's going to have to take 4 if he does, so Mortar's going to take care of that. Does not look too thrilled to have to cast that card. VanMeter going to go down to 14 and get the Reckoner off the table, and his hand right now is just lands, so he's going to need either some sort of large creature to get back in this or some way to take care of that Chain of the Rocks. Fortner going to play a Satyr Fire Dancer after that Mutavault. Just pass the turn back.
And keep in mind, there's still that Phoenix in the graveyard, too, so Phillip in the driver's seat right now.
Oh, VanMeter did a big draw. Looks like he found one here in a Stormbreath Dragon. Really doesn't have much of a choice at this point. It's kind of all in. Going to attack here for 4. Fortner going to go down to 12. We know VanMeter has lands to play. He's going to play a Stomping Ground tap, pass the turn back, and threaten Monstrosity next turn.
Phillip really needs some burn spells here. Was that a Spark Trooper? That is a big draw.
Just an attack here for 1. Pretty simple stuff there from Fortner. VanMeter going to untap and take a draw. He picked up a copy of Rakdos' Return. Now that's mighty interesting.
It's a great draw here, too.
What do you do here? Gonna play a Forest. He wants to, I mean, he has the ability to go monstrous with this card.
I think that Chris is just trying to figure out what could be in Phillip's hand.
Yeah.
He didn't kill the Stormbreath Dragon last turn. He didn't attack with the Mutavaults. So what on earth is going on there?
I'm gonna attack, says VanMeter. He says, yeah, I'm Monstrosity right now. If you have 2 burn spells, that's cool, but I don't think you do. So here's an attack. That.
Oh my God. Oh, no.
A Dictator of the Twin Gods comes down, and now Spark Trooper.
That's what was in his hand. Obviously, Chris, obviously it was Dictator of the Twin Gods and Spark Trooper. How did you not figure that out?
Yeah, hasn't he played any? The 1-2 punch, VanMeter shows the Rakdos' Return, and that is it. Phillip Fortner gonna win this match over Chris VanMeter 2-1, and now you see CVM thinking, man, I should have cast that Rakdos' Return. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to kill me this turn. It actually would have just ruined him for the game. Fortner doesn't have anything left after that.
Yeah, it's a tough play. again, go back to last turn. Phillip didn't attack with Mutavault, didn't cast anything.
Yep.
But also had Satyr Fire Dancer in play. So if Phillip's hand is just 2 burn spells, he's just casting them, getting his Phoenix backs, killing your Stormbright Dragon.
Absolutely.
So it's really hard if you're in Chris's seat to try to deduce what's going on in his hand. What on earth could he possibly have? And it turned out that it was dictated the Twin Gods and Spark Trooper, but I cannot blame Chris for being unable to figure out that was what was going on there.
Yeah. If Chris figures that out, he is some kind of master.
Yeah.
I'm going to die to Dictate plus Spark Trooper in Game 3 against this red-white burn deck. And yeah. That's, I mean, when you're in a race like this for the Players' Championship, and every match and every point matters, and you get something wrong like that. And also, the tough part here, too, it's not like Chris drew a land for the turn. Chris drew Rakdos' return for the turn. So if Chris just says, all right, attack with the dragon, fireball you and your hand, Chris wins that game and this match.